Just getting set up because we will be on Facebook and YouTube. So let me get Facebook set up. Thank you for joining today. Please share. Let's see. It's my first time doing two at one time. Hello, hello. Getting set up here. It's a little crooked. Hello, hello. Good afternoon. We will get started soon. Good afternoon. We're talking about loud but solid pain, the life of endometriosis. It is a very horrific and critical disease that women face. So we'll be talking about that today, and I want to give you insight. Give me about a minute or so. We want to make sure others come on. So let's invite others to come on. Thank you. Give me just a second. This is my first time doing two at the same time here. So I am trying to have a little background music. If I can get it started. Let's see. I thought I had my system down. Apparently, I did not. Had a little music going on a few minutes ago. Let's see. But we're just kind of waiting for others to come on. I didn't want to get started with the information that I have until others do come on. Hey, Tennille. So please share, and I'm going to do the same. We are on Facebook and YouTube. So I'm setting up. Like I said, this is my first time being on both. And let me invite some people. I had several people say they were coming on. So let me see how to invite some people. I hope you're enjoying your Saturday. I am at home. I'm enjoying my Saturday. Please share, especially with preteens and teenagers. If you know some teenagers, some preteens, little girls, share this with them. Because this disease I want to talk about when it starts. Okay? All right, I invited some people. So give me about at least 1 minute or so. I'm gonna go grab me something to drink here. And I got some information. You know how time doesn't, it gets past us when we say we're gonna do something and you end up sleeping later than you say you want to sleep. Well, that's what happened to me today. I slept later than I wanted to sleep. So I hope you got some good rest today, because I sure did. Oh, it's in a folder. Okay. And I'm not going to share as much as I'm this afternoon as I will this evening. I will be back on this evening at 7:30. Here we go. Okay, what I want. Okay, I definitely want to talk to some teens. So I hope you invite some teenagers on, preteens, any woman you know that's in her childbearing age. Turn this down a little bit, because this disease affects us during that time, our childbearing age. Okay. So I'm going to go grab my juice, and then we're going to get started. I did invite some others to come on, so hopefully, let me try my YouTube. Just a second. And so with today and this afternoon, please, you are I'm open to questions. So post your questions, post your comments, because I want feedback. I want you to talk back to me, and if I don't have all the answers, I will look it up. I will look it up. So give me just a second. I'm just going to grab something to drink, okay? Enjoy this instrumental. All right, I am back. Okay. What is this telling me to do? Share. Okay, I shared it. Okay, let me turn this down, and let's get down to business. Let's talk about my topic, and my YouTube page is Loud But Solid Pain, The Life of Endometriosis. That is my new book that'll be released on the end of this month. Woo! So I just want to bring insight about endometriosis. A lot of people have not heard of it, or you have heard of it and you don't know what it is. Let me see. I want to get the I don't think it's right there. Well, I'll do the best I can. So endometriosis, number one, it is a female disease. It does not affect men. It only affects women. And the thing about endometriosis, the endometrial tissues or the disease can lay dormant until your first period. Okay, so once you have your first period, it wakes it up. It comes alive. It ignites it, and so you can start having endometrial issues and pain as soon as your first or second period. So that's why I was saying I really want the teens to and teenagers to be on here, because myself, I am a survivor of endometriosis. I suffered it for over 26 plus years. And so from a preteen, my whole the preteen, teenage, up young adult, early 20s, 30s, and 40s. So almost 30 years of pain. Endometriosis is a lot of pain. So and I'll give more information on this evening. I just, like I said, I overslept and I wanted to really give more. But we'll be doing this. I'll be on here the 21st, the 25th, the 28th, and the 30th, I believe. If you look on my Facebook page and my YouTube page and Instagram, you'll see that I'll be on here. So I'm not trying to give everything today or this afternoon. But what it does is when we have our cycle, your cycle, and let me say this, these teachings and what we're talking about is not just for women. We have husbands, we have brothers, we have leaders who know women who are having a lot of pain. So this information you want to know. You have daughters, men, you have daughters, you have nieces. So you have mothers. If you're not married, you have sisters. And so we do want men to be on here as well, because you can ask questions, or you can say, hey, check out this site, check out this YouTube. Because, you've been complaining about, you've been in pain when your cycles come and when you're not having a cycle. So what happens is, we have our cycle and it's supposed to release out, okay? In which it does. When you have endometriosis, it still flows outward. But what happens is it begins to build, everything doesn't go out. And so it begins to build adhesions and scar tissue on the inside, and where we begin to bleed on the inside. And when you begin to bleed on the inside, it creates the scar tissue. The way I describe endometriosis and fibroids, I describe them as leeches, because they live off of blood, and they don't kill you like a cancer. It's not a cancer. Endometriosis does have 5 stages, but it's not a cancer. But it grows like a cancer. It grows all over the place. It can affect your immune system. It can affect your bowels. It can affect your digestive system. It grows in a lot of places, and it's a lot of scar tissue that causes organs to stick together. So it's a very horrific disease. So when you have your cycle, it grows adhesions inside the body and builds up scar tissue, and it causes a lot of inflammation, a lot of pain. A lot of women, they have a lot of pelvic pain. I experienced so much pelvic pain, back pain, nerve pain, fatigue, being tired. It affects your emotions. If you think about you're always in pain, that's going to affect anybody. Also, it can cause infertility. A lot of women have not been able to have children. Endometriosis, it starts with a period. And so that's why I wanted to talk to you and also to young people, because a lot of times when we come into when our cycles come, most of the time we hear, oh, she's coming into her womanhood. Oh, Aunt Flo is here. And then you have a young girl who gets endometriosis, okay? And let me say that endometriosis is hereditary. I've read about several people who their grandmother had it, their mom had it. and then they had it, and then their daughter had it. So it is hereditary. So you do want to get that checked. What was I saying? I got so much to say. Um, what was I saying? Let me see. It's hereditary. Um, okay, so it starts with your period, and so that's why we want to talk to the teens, because a lot of times, like I was saying, we say you're on flow, you're in your womanhood, and then your daughters and your nieces, or the little girl on the praise dance team, or however, they're having these excruciating periods, and the pain is off the chart, and you're saying, "Oh, that's normal. You're just in your womanhood. You know that you're just having your period. Take 2 pills, go lay down, put an ice pack, put a heating pad, and it's not normal. It is not normal. It is not a normal cycle. And most of us, because I was that in that category of us, we think that it's normal to have these bent over cramps that have you balled up in fetal position, laying in a bed, trembling and shaking, and you're nauseated, and you don't want to go to work, or you can't go to work because you're in so much pain, or you're popping all these ibuprofen or Aleve or something to get relief. It's not normal. It's either endometriosis, or there's other diseases I will talk about tonight, because some of them I'm not good at wording, speaking on the words. But you have the endometriosis, you have uterine fibroids. There are several different type of fibroids you could be dealing with. It's so much. So I just want to say that if you know somebody who's having these excruciating periods, do not ignore it. Get some facts, start researching it and looking it up. So I'm going to shift here a little bit, because I got some stuff that I have on the screen on my computer. So I don't have anybody on YouTube right now, but I am recording. So when a woman has endometriosis tissue that looks and acts like the lining of the uterus starts growing in places besides the inside of the uterus. So I'm reading what endometriosis is, okay? The most common locations for growth, and this is why I was saying endometriosis grows everywhere. On the outside surfaces of the uterus, the fallopian tubes, the ovaries, the intestines, the bladder, pelvic cavity. So it hits so many areas. This is a horrific disease that we definitely want to do our research on, and know and be knowledgeable about it, so we're not ignoring the signs. Again, teenagers in endometriosis. I was that teenager that my parents, my family, nobody knew anything about this disease. So I was that child, that preteen, that teenager, that young lady who lived all these years in pain, and nobody could do anything for me. Nobody had any information for me. I didn't get diagnosed until I was in my mid 20s, around 25, 26. Endometriosis can cause pelvic pain, painful periods, pain during bowel movements, or intimacy. It's important, to seek a doctor. So then, this is who it affects. Endometriosis affects so many lives. And I will tell people, because I'm in different groups now. I had not been in groups, but I'm in different groups where I'm able to hear what the women are going through, and it's horrible. It's really horrible. But I think for myself, as a believer, and I state that in my group, I have a private group, Loud but Solid Pain, The Life of Endometriosis, on my YouTube page. I do state, as a believer, there is hope, because we serve a God that does heal. And so, FYI, the reason that I am doing this, I'm not just doing this, bringing this awareness because I suffered it, but I'm also bringing this awareness because many are not believers, or they're believers with no hope. They have lost their hope. And the doctors have told them there's no cure. There's no cure. So, and they say that, just like they say about cancer, there's no cure. There's no cure. I mean, they don't want to be reliable. They don't want to be reliable. We understand lawsuits, but I believe that there is a cure. I believe that we walk by faith, if we speak in faith and by faith, that the healing can take place. Will everyone get healed? Everyone won't get healed. That's just, it's the fact. It is a fact. Everybody don't get to get healed for whatever reason. But there are several people who are healed. And so we are going to stand on that. I'm healed. Hallelujah. I'm healed. So, okay, let's go back. Endometriosis, it affects over 176 million women worldwide. Do you hear me? Do you hear me? When I think about this disease, it is an assignment, an assassination to a woman's reproductive system. Because a lot of women, like I said, they don't even get to have children. It stops fertility. It stops reproduction. So, as believers, did you hear the number? Over 170 million women worldwide. So, as you are praying, strategically praying, pray against this disease that is affecting young women. And like it says, including teenage lives. Approximately 1 out of every 10 women of childbearing age live with endometriosis in the United States alone. In the United States alone. Girls whose mothers or close family members have endometriosis are 5 to 7 times more likely to have endometriosis. And many of you have never heard of it. And if you have not suffered with the disease, you would not know of it. Or if someone gave you the knowledge about it. And so that is one of the purposes of me being an advocate and bringing awareness about endometriosis. Many are suffering. They're suffering. I didn't have to have as many surgeries as women. It's heartbreaking. There's so many women looking for the cure. So let me talk about some of the things that we face with this. So this is their diagnosis, okay? And anything that I say, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a doctor. I'm speaking experience of what I've had to deal with this disease. But when they diagnose you or us, they try you out on all these pills for hormones like birth control. A lot of it is birth control. And the purpose of the birth control is to stop your period or to delay your period so that you don't have the painful periods. But I'm not an advocate for birth control pills. I'm one that I don't like birth control pills. I never have. They have a lot of side effects to them that affect your body as a woman. And so I did that hormonal therapy for a little while, but it did not work for me. I wasn't willing to do some of the things I wasn't willing to use some of the things that they wanted me to use. So, and they have so many things. They have, injections. I did do the shot. It was a Depo-Provera shot. I just, it stops your cycle for over 3 to 6 months. I think I did that twice. And I was a young woman then. But, and it literally cut off your cycle. I didn't have the pain, but it just did some things to my body that I did not like. I did the pills for a while. I did not like those. And they put you on pain medicine. You're just on pain medicine. Pain. Ibuprofen, 500 milligrams, 600 milligrams, 800 milligrams. When you run out of that, you find yourself taking 12 and 15 to 20 pills a day just to relieve pain. But they never gave me any reason. And this was way back 20 some years ago. They didn't tell me why, or they did not have enough knowledge. And that's the thing about endometriosis. It's been ignored. I was reading, been doing my research, and believe it or not, endometriosis has been here for over 4,000 years. They researched it back to the symptoms. And they just recently really started pushing it and talking about it, I believe around 1985. And then in this last probably 8 years, 8 to 10 years, they've been really talking about it. Now you see commercials on TV about endometriosis. I mean, they having commercials on TV as if it just started. It's been here a very long time. It's been affecting women for a very, very long time. Um, a lot of women have had a lot of emotional trauma, because the doctors have said some things that um, kind of try to make you feel like you got a few screws missing up there, because they could not understand the pain. They couldn't pick it up on a ultrasound. They couldn't pick it up on an MRI. They couldn't pick it up on a CAT scan, because the thing about endometriosis, if the doctor doesn't if the doctor has not studied, if they're not if it's not a specialty that they specialize in, if they're just a gynecologist, a regular gynecologist may not have the knowledge about endometriosis in the depthness that they needed to help you. And so the sad thing about endometriosis, if you don't have a specialist that really know the symptoms and the signs of a woman with endometriosis, the only way that they can detect it is they have to cut you open. And it's not a huge cut, but they have to cut you. The reason is endometriosis is a disease like none other. Like, you can't detect it. Okay, you can't just put a finger on it, but you literally have to open up. And so what they do, so what happened to me in 2015, and I know I'm saying a lot of things, I'm just trying to give you the gist of it. As time goes by on these other recordings, I will have more stuff laid out in order. So I'm just giving you the basis of what has happened, what it is, and a little bit about what I had to go through. So after suffering with endometriosis for 23 years, 24 years, I finally went in for surgery. And so they encourage you to have this laparoscopic surgery, which I frown upon it. I really do. So in 2015, I went and had a laparoscopic surgery. And the reason I had the surgery, I was in so much pain. And now all these years went by because I was like, they're not cutting on me. And I was believing for my natural healing. So I just went about my life. And it was hard. Many of you know me. And I've been a mover and a shaker. And that's just who I am. But I endured it and I did it through the pain, and taking pain medicine. So my doctor was very knowledgeable of endometriosis. And so she wasn't willing to just go in and cut me open and close me back up. We was going to go ahead and do the surgery. And because to detect it, they make a small incision in your stomach, and they insert a probe. And this probe has a camera on it. And so they insert this probe with a camera on it, and they go in and they look around to see the endometriosis. And they're also able to see what stage you have and where all has it covered, And so the laparoscopic surgery to burn off the endometriosis is similar. They make 3 or 4 incisions, one above your navel, one below your navel, and on each side of your stomach on your left and right. And they're about an inch incision. And they insert these tubes. They insert in the instruments that they're going to use. They insert a camera and a laser, and they go in and they burn off the endometriosis. Now, the thing about it is the endometriosis is violent. It goes in so many areas, and it also can be so bad that it cinches together. Your uterus could be stuck to your bladder, or your bladder and your bowels, because the bladder, uterus, and bowels are so close. Like, the uterus literally separates, and it's something called a perineum, is what separates the bladder and the bowel, but they're so close. So your uterus is right there. So they can, it's you're still taking a chance because they could injure your bladder, and you could, and the doctor told me they could have injured my bladder and I could be walking around with a bag for the rest of my life. So it's you jump out there, you take this chance. So what happens is a lot of times when they do the laparoscopic surgery and they burn off the endometriosis, well, if you're covered and they leave just a little bit, guess what? It's growing back. And most of the time it grows back. And it grows back with a vengeance. It come back violently. Um, so that was in 2015. I was out of pain for a year, y'all. And it felt so good. But then I started feeling the pain again. And so the pain started coming back in 2016-ish. Yeah. A little bit, right, maybe the beginning of 2017, I knew that it was back. And I was devastated because I was like, okay, if I was feeling like that for over 20 something years, okay, what am I finna experience now? And I had made up in my mind, I will not go 5, 10 years with this pain again. We have to do something. And so it took me a while. And the reason it took me a while is because you have to have a good doctor. You have to have a doctor that you have a rapport with. Okay. So if you are suffering with endometriosis, make sure you have a doctor that you're comfortable with, that their bedside manners are good, that they're listening to you, that they're listening to you emotionally as well, because it's a very emotional state to be in. Because think about this. When you're in pain, what does pain do? When you're in pain, pain controls you, right? Pain can say, okay, you can go. Pain will say, stop. Pain will lay you out. You see, pain will slow you down. So you need someone that's sensitive to your emotions and sensitive to your pain and what you're going through, because endometriosis, it affects your whole life. It affects your productivity. It affects you as a wife. It affects you as a employee. It affects everything, because some days you don't want to do anything else. In so much pain, you just need to lay down, or your emotions. So you do want a doctor that is sensitive to you. Okay. So I did that. And here we are in 2019. 2018, my last few months of the year, the pain just would not stop. I was in pain every single day, from morning to night, from night to morning, in my sleep. One thing about endometriosis for me, it ignited, or the inflammation was really bad in my sleep. So every morning I woke up, I had to wait for the inflammation to just go down, because I will be so swollen in my pelvic and uterus area. And if I move too quick, oh my God, it just stopped me. So some mornings I had to just slow down and wait, or I'd have to make sure I got up early enough to put something in my stomach so I could take something for pain so I could go to work, you know. So 2018, it just got bad. And then also in 2017, about the end of 2017, I got fibroids. So I'm dealing with endometriosis and fibroids. And the fibroid, oh my God, it's a whole nother pain. It has another level of pain, especially during your cycle. Um, I had gotten used to the endometriosis in a way, I'm like, it is what it is, and I keep going. But when the fibroid came, oh my God, it literally shut me down. It put me in a hospital. I was driving a school bus, and it's like I couldn't even finish. I had to call in, and they brought somebody and they finished out my route, I was in the hospital, like in so much pain. And the sad thing about it, it was a very little fibroid, but it was causing real big pain. And they just give you medicine, and sadly to say, they tell you it's not big enough to cut. So it has to keep growing. How does a fibroid grow? It grows off your blood. That's why I call endometriosis and fibroids leeches, because they slowly kill you. And when I say they slowly kill you, they slowly stop your life, your activities, your joy, your peace. So yeah, now endometriosis, fibroid, and a whole lot of pain. So it comes to decision making time, and we'll talk about that on the rest of the recordings, that you'll find out what I've had to do to relieve the pain after 26 plus years. So I hope that this recording has helped you. I hope that you have received some information. I hope that it's been beneficial to you. Through the other recordings, I will also be giving some self-help tips, some things that I found out later that begin to help me. But I found them out later as I was making the decision to have another surgery. But I do believe that you can put the inflammation under subjection. I do believe that you can be healed. I'm a strong believer of that. I do believe that in spite of the pain, in spite of the misunderstanding by doctors and even family members, I still believe you can have joy. You're looking at a woman of joy right now. I still believe you can have peace. I still believe that you can be active and you can do things. Now, does it take a little more effort to do it? It does. I do believe that you can still have a smile on your face. You can. I do believe that you can be one to encourage. And as you encourage others, I believe that it uplifts you and it takes you out of a low place. I also believe that when you're in a low place, that someone else will come in and give you a charge. I do believe that it's not the end of the world, because it's not. Yes, it's a horrific disease, and yes, we go through pain, and some of us are not able to have more children. I was blessed to have one son, but after that, I was never able to have children anymore. That was very heavy and hard for me, but I'm always connected to people with children, so that has been a blessing. So I just want you to be encouraged. If you are suffering with endometriosis, I encourage you to be around positive people that are speaking positiveness around you, people with positive energy. I am a believer. I'm not sure if you're a believer, but I would say connect to the Almighty God, which is Christ, Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior. So He has kept a smile on my face and peace in my heart and joy. And there is a scripture that says, the joy of the Lord is my strength. And so I believe that. And you want to be around people who speak the word of you, who speak truth over you. You want to be around people who embrace you. You're not always in a place that you want to talk, or sometimes you don't even understand what's going on, but your hormones and your emotions are all over the place. And sometimes you just talking, and you may just bust out crying. And it's like, I don't know why I'm doing this. But you need someone to be able to be sensitive to you. You need someone to understand that, I'm doing the best I can, but I'm in so much pain. I don't, I'm in pain. I can't explain it. I'm just hurting. Sometimes when you're in this pain, you just need to have fun. Sometimes you just need to laugh real hard, And so I just hope that everything that was said on here today was an encouragement to you, and that you receive some knowledge from living a life of endometriosis. Again, I do have a YouTube page. I would ask that you would subscribe to it. I am doing videos and uploading them. The YouTube page is Loud but Silent Pain, The Life of Endometriosis. I will not just be talking about endometriosis. There's several things I just want to share that encourages us as women. We need to continue to connect and also to uplift the men that are in our life, because they need to be able to understand the different stages that we go through dealing with endometriosis, dealing with hormones. We go through different stages, and sometimes it's beneficial to them that they know what we're going through, and sometimes they don't know unless somebody tell them. What else? So that's my YouTube page. I also have a private Facebook group. And it is a private group. We talk on there and we share. It's Loud but Silent Pain, The Life of Endometriosis, and you can ask to join that group. I will be releasing my book at the end of this month, same title, Loud but Silent Pain, The Life of Endometriosis. And this book talks about my journey of suffering with endometriosis, and it also gives some insight and some knowledgeable things that you need to know and things to look for with dealing with this disease. My goal is to help as many young people. That my heart is for the young people, because can you imagine? I've read how 15 and 16-year-olds have had to go and have a laparoscopic surgery, that their stomach is cut and they go through this surgery. And so I think about those young girls who parents don't know, who grandmas say, oh, you're just in your womanhood, you just have unflow, and they don't know. Well, that's normal, and it's not normal. So my goal, and if you want to be a part of this movement, my goal is to build a volunteer team. And I have a lot of information right now. Like I said, I'll be sharing it. And we go